All right. This is Mark Stepp. I am the Chief Innovation Officer here at Realvolve, and we're going to be getting started here pretty soon. We're going to let some of the attendees start coming in. Uh, this this particular session, this is kind of a different kind of webinar where we actually let you guys uh, raise your hand and either physically ask the question. I can turn your mics on. If you guys have mics, you can raise your hand. There's a little option in there to raise your hand. Or you can put your question into the questions box. And what we'll do is we'll just kind of go through questions one at a time, figuring out what kinds of things that you would like to know. This is really designed for beginners. So if you're a user that's been around for a while, you might find this a little bit basic, but at the same time, seems like we're always learning something, so it's always good to watch. We are recording this, so if you guys need to leave early or anything, that is not a problem. We'll be posting this in the YouTube channel so that you guys can watch it later if need be. So just waiting just another second, a few seconds, and then we'll go ahead and get going. I do want to thank everybody for attending, taking the time to learn Realvolve and take the time to educate yourself so that you can be more productive. I've spent a lot of time with real estate agents, and you guys have a tough job. We know that, and making sure that you have the tools to be able to do your job more efficiently is my whole goal. I've been doing this for 25 years, and in that time, it's really just been a time of trying to figure out how I can best help you guys. So as we go through this Q&A section, first off, I would like for you guys, I'm not seeing anybody ask anything. Just say yes if you can hear me. I want to make sure everybody can hear me in the little question area. Yes, yes. Okay. Appreciate it. Curtis says, yep. Thank you, Curtis. Good to see you guys. All right. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up some of the questions here. And if you guys, in that same toolbar that you guys were just answering that, there is a section where you can raise your hand. Or if you just want to put your question in the questions area, please do so. And we'll get going. I'm going to bring up a little screen here. 1 second. We've just been having a ton of enhancements and things that we've been working on, and hope you guys get a chance to look at those here pretty soon. I want to make sure. Okay, here's some questions. I've entered some activities into a transaction, and now they're not showing on the radar. Okay, so let me explain one thing as we go through this. Let me go to the main screen here. So whenever you add activities, if I come over here and I click on add and then click on the add activity or start a workflow, any of those types of things that can be done, what is going to show up on your dashboard and also the radar of any of the people that you're doing stuff with is what is due today or what is past due. If it's in red, if you look at the title and it's showing it in red, like this one here is, that's really an indicator that it's past due. It should have already been done. We should have completed it, and it's just not been there. And it's showing up as past due on this. If I go to, let me just go to a contact record here. And pull that up. There we go. So you'll see that because it's past due, or if it was due today, it would show up in the radar. Whenever you're adding activities to the calendar, they will not show in the radar if they're in the future. If they're, and the same type of thing for your dashboard and also for your tasks in the task list. The only thing that's going to show in these, unless you change the date range that you're showing in the activities, are things that are due today or past due. Now you can go to your calendar and you can see them, or if you go to a contact and you go to their calendar, you can see future events, or the activities list. You can see future activities as well. Either in the, if it's completed, it's going to be in the completed section. I have had some people be showing the completed stuff and they're saying things are missing. Well, it may just be that you're not showing the incompleted activity. So that's another thing to also possibly check. But as you add activities, it will only show in the radar if it's due or past due. Hope that makes sense. Okay, how can I sort my activities by due date? I just answered this one on Facebook. Whenever you go to your tasks, if I come here to the tasks section and you've got your list of things, you can sort them by different dates. I typically have them sorted by due date. Priority order is one option. We did add not too awful long ago, and I know several people, several agents actually prefer this one, which is we're sorting it by address and then due date. Address and then due date. And what that does, and it really doesn't make a whole lot of difference unless you've got a bunch of activities that are due for a particular address in your transactions or your properties section. It will first sort everything by the addresses. That way, if you've got several things that need to be done for a particular property or transaction, it will group those all together. And again, this is going to show you the things that are either due or past due. So you might have some things that like put the sign in the yard, lockbox on the door, those types of things that may be individual activities for a given property, and you might have them all listed here. And by having them, having it ordered by address and then due date, it groups those together just to make it easier to get those things done kind of in a batch process. So anything that was to do with 77 South, if there were several of them, it would all list there. So hope that makes sense. Let's see, we've got another one here. When you place a home purchase anniversary in a contact, will it automatically remind you next year, or do you have to create an activity? I know birthdays is automatic, if I understood correctly. Yeah, birthdays are automatic. We don't do the purchase anniversary automatic. What most people will do is actually put that as part of a workflow, a repeating workflow, basically. What you can do is, if you wanted to create like the very last thing on maybe your closing, whenever you're working on your closing, you might start an activity from your very last activity, which is another workflow. And what I would do there in this case is I would just create a new workflow. Go up here and say, and I'm just going to name it 00. Anything I'm doing, I want it at the top, I'll do 00, just alphabetical order. Anniversary date of property. And we can set this to a contact. So what this will do, let me just add this. What you would probably want to do is start them on this particular workflow at the very end of this, and it's your anniversary or purchase anniversary, whatever you want to call it. Determine who's going to do this, whatever it is. If it's going to be an email, who's going to send that email, whatever. If it's just a phone call, maybe you just want to make a phone call every year. And when do we want to do this? Well, we want to do this 0 days after the home purchase anniversary. Okay. And if you wanted to, you can set the frequency on this to be yearly, every year. and never ending. Or you can say, you know, after so many years, then finally stop, type thing. So at this point now, I can come over here and say, yeah, add that as it is, and whoa, where did it go? That example, if that just did that. Add another activity. Whoa, what did I do? Sorry about that. Call happy anniversary. I think I must have clicked on something other than what I should have. Email or call, in this case, call when, do this one more time, 0 days after the home purchase anniversary. And I'm going to do this, repeat yearly. And click on add. There we go. Not sure what happened that first time. So now I have an anniversary activity. I would probably, you could do it a couple different ways. You could create this just as an activity like this, and then anytime you wanted to start it, just start it manually, or you could have it start this workflow at the very end of maybe your closing. You could do the same type of thing, just add this to your closing. So I'm going to go over here to my dashboard. Let's pull up Donovan. Let's just say that, go to his piece here, and home anniversary, say we closed today. Okay, so at this point, I can then come over to the radar and start this workflow. It is the anniversary of property. Next. And next. So it's going to start on the 28th, today's date, and go, because that was what I put in there. If whatever date it is, it'll properly calculate it based off of whatever the date was. So now then, if I go to my activities, once again, because it's today's date, it'll be the happy anniversary activity is due today, so I can complete that. Because it's a repeating activity, whenever 1 year loops around, it will go ahead and create that one as well. So it will remind you each time. Hope that answered that. Okay. What is, I just posted this one too. What is the bell icon at the top of the screen? Okay, so up here at the top, you'll see this little bell icon that we just added. This is just like Facebook's little notification piece. It will show a number of activities that you've not looked at yet, or number of notifications that you've not looked at yet. So if I click on this, it will show me things that have happened within the account. So and I was just doing some testing on this on the 23rd. In this case, a text message was sent from Mark Stepp, which I was just sending it to myself for myself type thing. So whoever the contact record is that sent that message, it'll come back to their contact record. And same type of thing for emails, and also for zaps. If you guys are importing names from lead generation type stuff, one of the things that people have been saying is like, well, how do we know whenever we get a new contact? And we've always said, well, make sure you send yourself an email and a workflow to start a workflow. Well, now you don't have to do that anymore. It will notify you whenever a new contact comes in. You can see it on here, and then you can just go to that contact by clicking on the name, and it'll pull them up. You can see whatever information is on there and be able to do with it whatever you want, if you want to make phone calls or whatever. So just a quick way of letting you know what types of things happen. Now, one thing that does come up on that as well, let me do this. I'm going to show you kind of what happens on that, because it's a good thing to show. One of the additional features to that is if you're using a browser, obviously you are, whenever you first get a notification, it will pop up a little message in your browser saying, do you want to allow the browser to notify you? And if you answer yes to that, even if Realvolve is not open, it can notify you through a browser notification. So, and that's really cool. So you don't necessarily have to have Realvolve open at the time that it actually happens. So let me see if I can find real quickly here an entry, and we'll just kind of test this here. Okay, so what I did is I've got a Google form, and this is just something I use for testing purposes. I'm going to go into the preview option of this so that we've got a way to add a new contact. So I'm going to put in here Frank Harper, email frank at frankharper.com, 555, some number and notes. Just wanted to say hello. So what that's going to do, I'm going to hit submit, and because of Google Forms, what happens is whenever you do a Google form, it takes the information that is typed in there and it takes it to, let me go to responses here and open this up just to kind of show you what this is. It takes whatever your responses are and it throws it into a Google spreadsheet. So each of those different names that are entered get automatically put in here. I have a Zap set up within Realvolve's Zap piece to be able to zap a name whenever a contact or whenever a row is added to this particular sheet, it automatically zaps it into Realvolve through the zaps. Now with Google Sheets, it's on some kind of timer, so it takes about 5 minutes or so. So we're going to wait around a little bit and continue on to other things, and hopefully we'll have a little pop-up here pretty soon to show you what it's done. So and it'll also at the same time update the little bell once it comes in as well. So we're going to go ahead and do some other things while we wait on that to actually happen and go through there. But the three things that it does is SMS text messages, email messages, and zaps right now. We'll be adding other notifications as we go along for the next few weeks. Those are just the first three that we wanted to get in there. So I hope that explains that. We'll just kind of let it go through for a little bit. I want to import data from my client data from another client database. How do I do that? Okay, wow. We do have some training on that. I want to pull that up because there's quite a bit to that. And I want to make sure that while I could rush through it real quick, it's maybe something that you want to reference. If you go into our help section in Realvolve, help.realvolve.com, there is all kinds of help pieces. There's a section here for importing, and we've got several different videos on how to import from Exact, from Advantage, Wise Agent, Top Producer. Those are all there. If your database isn't one of those, we do have a kind of a generic import so that you can import a CSV file, and this will take you through kind of step by step how to do it. All the way. Okay, there is our notification, just to let you see what that is. Your contact, Frank Harper, was created successfully. And this is a browser notification. Whether I had Realvolve open or not, this would still pop up because I told the browser to allow this. The very first notification that comes in, it'll pop up and say, do you want to allow these pop-ups to show? And I would recommend that you say yes, so that even if you're not in Realvolve, you'll still know about these. So now if I come back over here to Realvolve, you'll also see that now this has a little 1 on it. So I've got 1 notification. So I can go back to my bell. There's my notification. There's my link to Frank Harper. I can click on him and it brings me in, phone number, email stuff, and my note that I put in there, and all the stuff that I assign in the tags for my Zap. So it's all automatic to bring that in, and it notified me now, which is a cool thing. So hope that made sense. Going back to our import, chasing a little rabbit there, sorry about that. From here, you can play the little recording, and it'll step you through step by step how to import. And that's a matter of taking a CSV file, selecting the file itself. It will show you how to map the individual CSV files. But we have some, I think, 20 or 25 different selections for importing those maps, pre-set up maps for Top Producer, Wise Agent, a lot of the common ones, Boomtown, those types of things. As you're bringing data in, it will it can automatically map it for you, so you don't have to go through all the mapping. So take a look at that for your import and see if that if that helps you. Let's see, we've got another one here. Can you please cover how to add a Facebook link? I'm not having consistent application of this feature. Okay, so for Facebook, let me show you basically how to do that. I'm going to pull up Facebook here, and I'm just going to go to my record just for lack of a better one. And in my Facebook, up here is the address for my Facebook. It can have all kinds of stuff. I've got mine personally named. Some of them aren't like that, but what you can do is just come up here and copy it. You can go to the contact record itself. Now I'm going to put it on Frank just because it's first one here. Go down to the Facebook field and just paste that in. Once it's pasted in, then it's all good. One of the things that you'll see now is because it's pasted in, I can come up here and I can click on Visit Facebook, and it'll open up that Facebook address for me. Now, prior to April 30th of last year, and it's been a year and a few months now, we used to be able to import information from Facebook. We used to be able to send messages through Facebook. We could go under the radar and we could see the Facebook news feed on individual persons. So like this news feed that's here was actually showing up right here in the notes area. On April 30th of last year, Facebook and LinkedIn both changed their privacy settings, and they said no more accessing that type of information. You can't do it. So the only way that we can do that now is simply by going into the contact record or going into Facebook, copying it, pasting it, and getting it into that way. And I regret that, but there's really nothing that we can do. Same type of thing for LinkedIn. They just do not allow us to do that anymore. Okay, here's another question. Can I import data from ZipLogic's WinForms, specifically the cover sheet where I put the client data, address, etc., that populates all the car forms? I enter it here, but it'd be nice to get it over to Realvolve. That's a great question, Robert. We do not currently integrate with ZipLogix, but we would really like to automatically. Now, having said that, I don't see why if there's some way of within ZipLogix of creating a CSV file of some sort, you could do the same importing type thing, going in and just doing an individual import and bringing that in. If there's a way of sending that ZipLogic's data maybe by email, you could even use a zap to automatically zap it in. I'm not as familiar yet with ZipLogics. I know we are endorsed by CAR at this point, and they are they are somehow ownership with ZipLogics. And I think there is a push to try to get us to do some integration. And once we get that, we'll let everybody know if that becomes a thing. I would really like for that to happen, because it would be great for us to be able to send information to ZipLogics as well as bring it in as well, because there's really no reason why, whenever you start a transaction, you copy the information from the property, you start a transaction, there's really no reason why we couldn't send information from Realvolve, like the people, the transactional information, that type of stuff could potentially all go straight into ZipLogics to let them do their things and create the forms that are needed. And I would love to be able to do that. At this point, we just we don't have that. Now, if they create a zap of some sort, then that would be one way of doing it. But unless they do maybe an email of that data out, if they can email that out, let me know, or send me a sample of a CSV or an email that you might be able to get out of that. We can see what we can do for you. So hope that would let you do that. Okay. Anything else? How can I send a mass email to a list of contacts? I'm wondering if you guys are even, I shouldn't say that. This is yet another thing that we just did a new training on. Let me go through it real quick and show you how to do this. And honestly, this is going to change here very, very soon, just a little bit. The screen will anyway. Whenever you go to your contacts, and say, for instance, I wanted to pull up everybody that was in a certain group, say newsletter. So newsletter, let me see how many people I've got in my newsletter. I don't remember how many. Okay, so I've got 15 people. This is just a sample database, so I don't have a whole lot of stuff here, but I got 15 people on a newsletter. I can come over here to the little chevrons, and it'll go to a view all screen. Now, from this view all screen, we have the ability to select individual contacts. So if I wanted to come in here and say, well, I want to send emails to just certain people, certain ones that have maybe email addresses, or maybe I want to do other things, I can select those names. I can, if I've got the whole list and I want to send it to everybody, I can just select the top little checkbox. It'll mark everything for me, and I don't have to worry about it. But once you've got that selected, it opens up this top bar of options to be able to do things with. So this icon is for sending a mass email. The 4 buttons that you see right here, sometime very soon, and I don't have an exact ETA on it, these 4 buttons are going to be being moved to a more option that's going to be listed over here, and some more drop downs. We're adding several additional features to be able to do some things, and I'll wait for that announcement to actually tell you what's coming in there. We got some really cool things happening. But if you want to send an email, you can come over here, click on the little email button, and you have 2 options. You can create a brand new email. You just want to blast out something to everybody real quick, and you don't already have it. You can choose a new message, or you can come over here and say, I want to choose from one of my existing templates. And I'll just go ahead and choose the existing template. We did the same thing in the video. And I can then say, well, which template do I want to use? Well, maybe I want to use the living out of boxes, lack of a better one, and click on preview. So now I've selected my people and I selected the template that I want to use. All I need to do is come over here and click on send message, and it's going to send each contact that is selected, that has an email address, obviously, the email individually. One thing that was asked a week or so ago was, how do I BCC all these people? I don't want them to see everybody's email address. Well, you don't have to worry about that, because the way we send out our emails, we do that because every email will probably have some merge fields, and you want to be able to merge greeting information or mailing names or addresses or things like that in those emails. And by having those in there, you can't just blast it out to a bunch of people with BCC. It doesn't work that way. We have to create each individual email, personalize it through the merge fields, and then send it out. So it sends you a really nice type email in that case. So whenever you send it, then it all goes and does its thing. If I click on the preview, it does pull up, I think, the first name in this, or no, it's not the first. Not sure what it does. That's interesting. It'll just show you a sample of what it is. It does put in the address and then whatever you got for the signature in there. And whenever I click send, it would then send. I'm not going to send it because I really don't want it to go out to anybody in any of those. But that's how you do that. So that's that. Hope that answered that question. If you just wanted to start a new message, you can come here, click on new message and hit OK, and then just, hey everyone, whatever, and then put in your subject and then send. It does require you to put a subject, so until you press the subject and put in some kind of text, it won't allow you to click on the send message until that. Just to let you know that. Okay. Any other questions? How do I use the ABCD selections in a contact, and what are they for? Okay. So you'll see over here on the left-hand side, I've got a bunch of names, and all those names are differently color-coded. So whenever you go into a particular name, at the top, you'll see that there's a place for A, B, C, and D. So technically, you can have people categorized 5 different ways. You can have them not categorized at all. So you can remove the ABC altogether, so there's no color coding at all. You can give it an A, B, C, or D. Now, you can use these however you want, okay? But do realize that as you're using them, the category group on the relationship score takes that into account. So the higher the number, the more value you get for that score. So the way I normally relate this to people is this. You can have people that don't have any score at all, so it would have 0, no selection gives you no category score at all. You can give it an A, which is, those are probably people that are on your A list, are those people that have referred you multiple people. They've done a lot of business through you or referred a lot of people to you. Those are your A list. Those are your really good people. And anytime that you talk with them, they're always thinking about you and wanting to give you more referrals. Those are great. You don't have a lot of those a lot of times, but we always want more A's. The B's are those people that probably you've done business with. You've done at least one transaction, or maybe they've given you one referral, but they're not raving fans. They've done business with you, so that could be a B. The C's could be those people that haven't done business with you yet, but you really want to. You want to, maybe you're doing stuff with them. Sorry about that. And it's just a category of whatever you want to put it in. The D's, what I typically would say are those people maybe you've done business with before, but you really don't want to do it again. They were hard to work with. Those are the types of people maybe you want to refer out to other agents and get the referral fee because you just don't want to mess with them. So that's one way of thinking of it. You can use it totally different, but just understand that A's are better than B's, that are better than C's, that are better than D's, and that are better than nothing. And that helps identify the scoring mechanism within a contact. So as you're doing things, not only are we looking at for your score, not only are we looking at the types of data you're putting in, what are you doing with them in your activities, are they reading your emails, that type of stuff to come up with a score. We're also taking into account your feeling, your categorization of these people to see what kind of quality of person are they. You may have somebody that, two different people, two of your friends, and you think more highly of one of them than the other, but everything else is equal. That's just a way of ranking some of your contacts in your database, because maybe one of them gave you a lot more referrals or they do more stuff with you. So that's really up to you, however you want to use it. Okay. Any other questions? Let me see if anybody's raised their hand. I don't see any hand raising. You guys are this is your time, really. I enjoy answering whatever questions you may have. So if you've got them, great. If you don't, we'll call it quits. So if you don't want to call it quits, first start asking questions. Anybody? Is this help you guys? Is this type of format help you guys? If you would answer yes or no, or yes, it does. Great. Yes, yes. Excellent. I enjoy being able to answer questions, and I also enjoy being able to uh, actually talk to you guys, because whenever I talk to you, we figure out problems and we figure out challenges. So if you have a challenge and we don't have a solution for it, it doesn't necessarily mean it will never be a solution. It's one of my mottos has always been find a need, fill a need. Now, for a lot of you guys that know my history, I had another product prior to Realvolve, and we've been moving a lot of the features over from it to Realvolve using new technology and new design, and it's a much better. Realvolve is a much better product because of that. But a lot of the features have been as a result of users asking questions and users having the need out there for something particular, and other software just doesn't do it. So we create those features and functionality, and hope that it helps you. Here's another question. As a newbie, I'm finding the workflow challenging. Creating my own, knowing where to start. Is there a class tutorial that I should watch? Okay, yes. Tell you what, I'm going to refer you to. Actually, I'm gonna preface it with a couple things here. Where's my? You go to YouTube. So one thing that you can do is go to youtube.com, and in YouTube, I've got my channel, which I guess really what I ought to do is well, you can go up here to the search field and just search for Realvolve, and it will bring you to our Realvolve channel. In Realvolve, we have all kinds of different videos. Anytime we have these webinars, I record them and put them up here, but we also have other things. Kindle has been doing a wonderful job at having a workflow workshop. And these are kind of one-on-one. She takes small groups of users, I think like 10 users at a time, and goes through a workflow workshop. But we do record them so you have the ability to visit those. And what we do is we put those in a playlist as well. So you can come over here to the playlist section, and we've got webinars, but we've also got a section here called workflow orientation. And we've got all kinds of the videos and stuff in here talking about workflows, stepping through those. There's also, she had just recently, I think last week, did the advanced workflow techniques, and these are some higher end things. I wouldn't recommend that right now, but any of these workflow workshop items, take a look at those, work through those, and see if that helps. The other thing that's a huge help for a lot of people, if you're just beginning, one of the resources we have available is our workflow guide. We have a book in our help. If you go to help.realvolve.com and just do a search for a workflow guide, this number 200 workflow guidebook has, it's kind of a living document type thing. There's a link here to a PDF file. And in this PDF file, it's 110 pages. It's a little booklet that I wrote up on how to build workflows. And this is, it starts you at the very, very beginning. If you've not seen this, I would highly recommend it. It takes you through some kind of concept type things. How should you use a workflow? What should you use them for? Bringing in leads, all that kind of stuff. We've got all kinds of different common examples for this, and it takes you step by step through a sample one. So how do we do a workflow? And it kind of takes you through step by step, setting up the permissions for users, because you're going to have multiple users probably in your account unless you're a single agent. Write it down on paper. We've got a little worksheet where you can say, okay, I'm going to create a new listing agreement workflow. It's dealing with my property or my listings section, and I'm just going to give it a tag of new listing. Tags really are arbitrary. You really don't have to worry about tags, but it's just showing you an example there. And then you start thinking, brainstorming how you want to deal with this new listing. What are the steps? What are the checklist of things that you do for a new listing? Well, put the listing information in the MLS, enter the property information into the database, put the sign in the yard, put the lockbox on the door. And who are the people that does this? If you're a single agent, it'll just be your name. If you've got an assistant, you can put your assistant's name in there. Then it's a matter of saying, okay, and I would, honestly, I would just brainstorm about all the different things that you need to do. Just write those down first. This one column of title. Don't worry about anything else on this sheet other than what are the things that I do for a new listing, or what are the things that I do for a new lead, a new closing, all these different things. Write down the titles first of everything that you do. Then come back and say, okay, for this first thing, I need to put the listing information into MLS. When do I need to do that? Well, I need to do that on day 0 days after the list date. Whenever I list it, that's my milestone date, my key date. When do I want to do it? Well, I want to do it 0 days after. If it's doing 0, it really doesn't matter before or after. It's that day. I'm going to do this activity. On that same day, I'm going to enter the property information into the database. 0 days after list date. Then the next day, I'm going to put the sign in the yard. Now, yours is going to be different. This is just a sample, just to show you the things. So in this case, it's 1 day after the list date. And then 2 days after the list date, I send an email to the seller introducing our team. Hey, John and Mary, just wanted to let you know about our team, who my listing coordinator is, who I normally use for the photographer. All that kind of stuff can be put in there in an email that you would send to them. And then maybe 1 week, send a status to the seller. So the whole concept of a workflow is to set up a plan and then start building that plan one at a time, one entry at a time. And what we do is we come down here and we start showing you how to start doing this. We give you examples of what kind of key dates and stuff could be in there, but we come down here and we say the basic workflow. Okay, so 0 days after the listing date, we're going to put the listing information in the MLS. So it takes you step by step through how to add this information into those workflow activities. And then it says, okay, well, let's expand this a little bit. The expanding part of it says, okay, we put the basic stuff in there. Now we might want to do something else, in that we had 2 activities that are on the same day. We've got the put the listing information into MLS, and we've also got the put the property information in the database. Does one of those need to be done before the other? And you can specify the order in which they go. And there's an order field in our activities. And then we can go in there and we can add some tags or do other things. And it takes you through kind of expanding what you might want to do with these things. So you get to a point where slowly, one by one, you create a little sample workflow. And once you get through that workflow, it's just repeating it for your own plan. It's repeating it for your however you do whatever. And just take one at a time. Now, for those people that want something to start off and they don't want to have to reinvent it, let me go to a more of a my training database maybe, or maybe my demo. Let's see which one pops up here. My demo one will come up. So if in the event you're starting these and maybe you just want to use a sample one first and edit it, well, you can go into workflows, and instead of adding a workflow, creating a new one, you can come down here to add a workflow from the library. So we'll click on add a workflow from the library and click on continue. And that opens up this section over here. And we've got a library of different workflows that are pre-designed that you can just load into your system. Now, some of these are public, meaning they're free. You can install them. It doesn't cost you anything. There's no code or anything to it. It's free. We have one here called a Realvolve exclusive client service workflow. And there are, in this particular workflow, there are a workflow package. This is a package of workflows. There are a total of 13 workflows in this package with a total of 31 pre-designed templates. What's in them are some workflows like a buyer investor home finder service. There's an escrow service for new builds, for if you're dealing with the buyer side, the seller side, or if you're doing both. There's workflows for just following up previous year's client, follow up for after sale buyer. So there's several different workflows that you can preload. All you need to do is come down here to install package, and it will install these 13 workflows and 31 templates right into your workflow section. So if I come over here to workflow, once they're installed, then you'll be able to see them in this list. I've got several workflows in this. I just use them for all kinds of things. There's the CSW, the client service workflow, and here they are. So say for instance our listing service, here's one for the listing service, and it has 28 things in here to do. Take a digital picture, install the lockbox, install the sign, all these different things that are in here. And you can go in here, now that it's in your system, you can go in here and you can modify it. Well, maybe I don't do it this way, or maybe I don't install the lockbox, it's done for me, you can just delete that. Or if you just want to go in there and look at how it's set up and go in there and make any changes that you want to, it's available for you to do that. So if you want to, one thing that you might want to do is if you make a change to this, it changes the entire plan. So you might want to come over here as you look at your workflows. There's 2 buttons. One is to delete, if you want to delete this workflow. The other is to copy this workflow. So you might want to come over here and say, well, I want to copy this workflow first, and then change the copy. That way you're not modifying in totality the one that is working for sure. And if you make any kind of changes or whatever, it will mess it up. So want to make sure that you get that. Let's see. Okay, good. She said that that'll do. Maybe I'm too wordy on that. Apologize if I was too wordy. Guys, we're at the 10-minute mark. Any other last questions before we wrap up? All right. At this point, unless something pops up here real quick, we're going to call this a day. Thank you guys for attending. Thank you for taking the time to learn. Taking the time now to learn it. And I know right now is a busy time for a lot of the agents. I get that. And making sure that you learn these little tidbits, because once you understand it, once you know it, then whenever things get busy, Realvolve can help you. And that's the whole key, is making sure that you get your automation pieces in place, you get your systems going so that you don't have to worry about it. Your whole goal every day is to come to the dashboard, look at what's on your list here, and just complete them. And everybody on your team should do the same thing. At the end of the day, this list should be blank and everything done, if at all possible. You can go in there and change dates if you need to, change if something can't be done today and you want to realign it for maybe 2 days out, you can certainly do that. But your whole goal is to get this clean so that whenever you go home, you can go home with a peace of mind that everything got done. And you don't have to worry about, did I get this done? Did I get that done? Or whatever. You know that things got done, and you can spend that time with your family and relax. I know you guys don't relax enough. So I've been in your offices enough. I know it's stressful. So hope that helps. If you guys need anything else, let us know, and we'll be happy to answer it. So you guys have a great day. Thanks. Bye.